I left that nigga on red cause I felt like it. Just me down in the rest in the road.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'll be doing a quick Q&A in regards to the most frequently asked questions I get in regards to my architecture journey thus far. So let's just jump right into that video. The first question is, what school did you go to? I attended New York Institute of Technology, the Manhattan campus. Did you dorm at school? I didn't dorm. I live about 40 minutes outside of New York City, so I just commuted to school. What was your college experience like? My college experience was alright. I went in there not knowing what to expect, but it was definitely tough. There was definitely nights that I cried. There were times when I went in and I didn't have all the required work. I was scared that I wasn't gonna pass certain classes, but I made it through to the end and I'm very proud of myself. I graduated with, I believe, a 3.5 GPA and a couple honors. So I was definitely proud of myself, for the main reason being that compared to my graduating class, the class that I actually started with was much greater, but as each semester went on, people just were dropping out left and right because it was too much work or it was just too hard for them. But I'm proud of myself for sticking through and finishing. How did you pick the right school? So I wouldn't say that there was anything I did specifically to pick the right school. I don't think there's such a thing as a right school. I feel like it depends on the vibe or the environment that you're in and if you put your best foot forward. So I actually only wanted to apply to Buffalo, but at the last minute my dad didn't want me to go that far. And I'm a daddy's girl, so I ended up Googling architecture schools close by in the city, and I believe I applied to 3 schools. NJIT being the first. They lost my application and my fee, so I just didn't even bother reapplying. I also applied to Pratt, but they sent me the wrong entrance exam, so NYT was kind of like my last hope, but I did get in and I got a scholarship there, so it kind of all worked out. You know, I believe everything happens for a reason. So yeah, I would definitely say do your research, but for me it ended up being like a last minute thing, but I did enjoy going to NYT and I would definitely recommend it. What's the craziest thing a client has ever said to you? I wouldn't say that there's anything crazy a client has ever said. We just had one client that accused me and my coworker of calling them out of their name, which that's just not my personality. That's just not who I am. So it's just a lucky thing like my boss like knows the type of person that I am, so he didn't even like believe that. But other than that, I would say because it's myself and 2 other female coworkers, we do get a lot of, oh, you're not what I was expecting. I was expecting an older white gentleman. And that being the stereotype, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's nice to show, you know, hey, here's something different. I'm something different. I'm offering you something different. So yeah, what is it like being black and female in a mostly white male dominated field? So you definitely see that a lot when you go to these board meetings and so forth. There's not a lot of, I haven't come across a lot of black architects, at least around my area, or even just people coming out to these board meetings or on the board. So being female, black, and young, you kind of have to just be confident, you know. You have to show the confidence, because if you don't, people are going to take advantage of you and walk all over you. So you step into a room, you hold your head high, and you talk like you speak like you know what you're talking about. Because if you don't put your best foot forward, or if you don't feel confident in yourself and exert that confidence, then people are going to be like, why should I be confident in you if you're not confident in yourself? Like, if I'm not feeling comfortable with you, you know? So it's definitely taken me some time because I'm a very shy person, but over the past year I've definitely grown, and you know, going to these different meetings and interacting with a lot of these different people, I've definitely learned that firsthand, that you know, you have to walk in a room with your head held high and believe in yourself. Do you have any regrets studying architecture? I don't have any regrets studying architecture. I wanted to do this since I was in the 4th grade. I did change my mind a couple times throughout high school about what I wanted to do, but at the end I came back to wanting to be an architect, which leads into the next question, which is, when did you know you wanted to be an architect? What is your main area of focus in your work? So I mainly focus on residential, whether additions or alterations, interior alterations, so forth. We do small commercial, but definitely no skyscrapers, nothing like that. No high rises. I am definitely not into that stuff. I'm more into building homes for people. How much student loans did you graduate with? I believe I graduated with about 90,000 plus. Yeah, somewhere around there. Right now I have about 43,000 left, and I've been out of school for 4 years now, so I'm really taking a stab at it. But I didn't get any grants or anything like that. I just had the loans and then my scholarship, and that's still the amount that I ended up with. What does a typical day on a job look like for you? So if I'm just continuing working on a project that I've already started, I'm pretty much sitting at my desk either doing existing condition drawings, design proposals, or construction documents. If it's a new job, we will go in the field and we will measure the existing conditions, and then we'll come back to the office and we'll do everything I just said. How many years have you been working in a firm? Next March in 2020 makes 4 years since I've been working in a firm. What degree did you get? I did the 4-year program at NYIT, which I believe is the Bachelor of Science in Architectural Technology. Are you planning on becoming a licensed architect? Yes, I am. I'm actually in the process right now of doing that. I finished all my experience hours. I need about 1 more year to get my 12 credits, and I actually sent in the paperwork a couple months ago to be able to start taking my test. So I just need to pass those 6 exams and I am on my way. How did you get your first job? So the job I'm currently at is the first and only job I've had in this field. I got that job actually through a classmate who was leaving the firm and who recommended me to my boss. What experience did you have in architecture before you went to college? So I had 0 experience in architecture. I knew absolutely nothing. Never took an art class, didn't go to some design high school or anything like that. No technical school, nothing like that. I just kind of just dived right in, which is why it was a little overwhelming at first, but I did follow through with it. What is your current status in your journey? Like I said, I am registered to start taking my exams, so currently I am studying to take my exams. How easy was it for you to get a job after you graduated, and how long did it take? So it took me about a year after I graduated before I actually got a job, and I still know a lot of people who I went to school with who don't have jobs in the field, or not even just architecture, but just like in general, a lot of people who graduate who it's very hard for them to find jobs in their field. So I'm very blessed that my ex-classmate thought of me when he was leaving the firm. How easy? There are firms hiring, but all the jobs I've had prior, which were only 2 retail jobs, I got through people, so I knew somebody. So I feel like when it comes to jobs, it's kind of, it does matter like who you know somewhat more than what you know. So those 2 jobs, like I said, I knew somebody, so that's how I got that. So as far as like having interview experience, I wouldn't really say I had a lot of that, but I did go on maybe 1 or 2 job interviews with architecture firms that were a little further than where I'm currently at, which is only down the street from where I live, which is definitely more convenient and better for me. But it took me a year. I kind of gave up at one point, but you know, God made everything work out for me, so I'm very grateful for that. And what programs do you use or are you familiar with? So at work currently we did switch over, so we were using Vectorworks and we are now using Chief Architect, which I love so much more. So Vectorworks, Chief Architect, AutoCAD. I do some work in Photoshop. Revit I'm still familiar with. I don't use it as much, but I'm still familiar with that. And I believe that's it. The last question is pros and cons of architecture. As far as going to school, it is a lot of work. I wouldn't really say there are pros and cons. At least for me, I know there aren't a lot of Black female architects, so I'm just trying to be another boss female, you know, out here taking over the world. But definitely I would say do your research, make sure it's something that you really want to do. when you go to school, you can obviously switch majors if you feel like it's something that's not for you. But I would definitely say if this is something you're interested in, go for it. Don't be discouraged. Don't let anyone discourage you, tell you can't do it. Just put your best foot forward. Because there were times where I felt like I was doing something completely wrong and then I was the only one in the class who did it right. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to put in that effort and good things will come to you. You just have to believe it. So on that note, that was the last question. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that I was able to answer your questions and give you guys a little insight, a little more insight on what it is that I do and where it is that I stand right now. And thank you to everyone that's been rooting for me. I love you guys, and let's just continue to kill it. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful, if you liked it. Also leave a comment below if there's any questions that I didn't get to that you would like the answers to, or if you just like this video. Thanks.